Hello, everybody, and welcome to more Beyond the Summit Series 3. I think it's just BTS Series 3. Anyway, showing you that it's a very early o'clock here. We have Empire versus Burden United. Burden United came out of the gate kicking, but weren't able to seal the deal. So they have to try to pull it back if they want to push it to a game 3. I'm Llama Down Under, joined by PQMZ, and we already have an Earth Spirit ban. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, both teams deciding to adapt their draft a little bit, taking out the heroes that kind of
10 seconds
had the
remaining.
biggest influence in the previous game. But Burden sticking to their guns, going
Team
with two of the same
Empire's
heroes they
turn
had
to
last
pick.
game, which I can't really blame them for. They played it pretty well. They could find some, like, a few more creeps here and there and just have that item timing a few minutes earlier. Maybe it's enough to change that game to a win. But this is Empire first picking Oracle, which I've seen Funnick play it. Like, I think every
10
game I've seen
seconds
Empire
remaining.
play so far with the new roster, but I can't
5
really say I've
seconds
seen it
remaining.
being like first pick worthy. Don't get
FN's
me wrong, the
Invoker.
hero's insane.
So,
Reserve
did you say
flag.
FN's Invoker you don't think is
No, the
enchant?
Oracle.
Oh, the Oracle. Okay. Yeah. No, I
Do you
was.
not hear me like properly? Is my mic too
No,
far
no,
or?
that was just me. I heard something weird, and I was like, what? Anyway, no. Let's focus.
I was just saying I haven't really seen
I
Oracle be like super first pick worthy, but I've seen Funnick on it like
Team
every time I've
Empire's
seen Empire
turn
yeah.
to
play.
ban.
Oracle and Faceless Void. Interesting combo. Not maybe one I was super expecting. I agree with you. It's something. Oracle actually has a pretty bad win rate this patch in
10
professional Dota,
seconds
but I think that's a
remaining.
case of a lot of experienced teams allow less experienced teams to get it. We actually need to
5
pull the
seconds
data on that
remaining.
and just confirm, but Oracle's always nice. The Death Prophet's still in the pool. FN might be able to pick
Reserve
that up.
time.
Might even just force the ban out from Burden. Although Burden does have first pick, so maybe they can get themselves the Death Prophet instead.
Yeah, there's lots of options open, which I think is fine. Oracle and Void is still like not Skywrath Void, but Oracle still does a load of damage and it gives you a lot of natural sustain on your heroes. Like Void suddenly becomes more annoying to kill if you want to use spells to save
Team
him. If
Empire's
it's not
turn to ban.
Oracle saving the Void, Void just goes back to like 3/4 of his HP after all the spells he used. Oracle saving another hero, and you need to make sure you've got enough lockdown, enough burst on Burden to actually go through these spells.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah,
5
this is
seconds
a
remaining.
yeah. We do see the Death Prophet banned out for against Team Empire. What
Reserve
else
time.
pairs up really well with the Faceless is obviously the Gyro combo that Empire could go to.
Jug
But
is something a lot of teams use just for the Omni synergy, I suppose. And at the end of the day, you don't have to have like amazing synergy with the Void for him to do a lot of work for your team.
it's actually really funny. A lot of these high level teams, we actually see them put, as you said, they get the Juggernaut and then they just place the Chronosphere so well that
Radiant
he's
team
actually, people are on the edge, so the Jug can kill them off.
Yeah, ever since Blink became a thing, that's a lot easier to do. But it does require you to have a lot of farm because people pretty much always go Vlads before the Blink,
10
which
seconds remaining.
I don't think is a problem. It's just some games Blink's a bit
5
too late
seconds
or
remaining.
Vlads isn't quite useful enough to warrant it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The item progression on Faceless Void, it does feel like the Vlad's is mandatory, but the Blink does so much work. Do you think it could be possible to start doing a sort of Blink rush on the Faceless Void, similar to how it happens on the
Radiant team
Batrider?
pick.
Obviously, Faceless doesn't have the farming potential of a Batrider, but
The Vlads kind of gives him a farming potential because Iron Talon is pretty much core on the hero regardless now. Even if you're not farming the side camp, it's still good in the lane. And the Vlads just amplifies that. It gives you pretty much everything you want on the hero because you want to be in and around your team. You want to
10
be
seconds remaining.
gaining through the fights with just how the hero works now.
5 seconds
But
remaining.
I do think Vlad's is fairly core, but some games I would prefer to see Blink when
Reserve
he's
time.
a bit more sacked, he's a bit more pure initiator role as opposed to semi right clicker. Like Universe is probably the only player I find who regularly gets farm he needs, regularly gets like all the chronos. Everyone else is kind of one side or the other, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a lot of. We've seen a couple teams, especially in the Americas region, really trying to make carry Faceless Void a thing. I'm not saying it doesn't work anymore, but the initiation Faceless Void seems to be much more powerful. Either way, we got a Clinks ban out, we got a Mag ban out because Arise is playing. I'm not sure if that's necessary since he did play carry last game, but I think right now it's a hero preference thing since they are playing with a stand-in. And OD gonna be what comes out of Burden United.
I really like that pickup. A, because you have the defensive capability of Astral for anyone that does get caught in Chrono. Astral's also very good against anyone that gets False Promised. If you've already got the damage on them, I'm presuming it will just kill them in the Astral if it expires, and then the Oracle can't be healing them, etc. And on top of that, it's just one of the strongest cores right now. It does so much damage. Doesn't take damage that well, and Empire going for the Zeus, if he's suddenly at half HP when the OD wants to fight, it's gonna rely on his team to keep him up. If that's the case.
Now, OD's a very strong hero. It's hard to pick an OD this early, though. Team Empire already have a couple heroes that won't be as affected by the Sanity's Eclipse unless the OD gets a lot of right-clicking off, since Oracle and Zeus will be relatively okay against that. And Empire can try to pick the rest of their lineup to be able to play around the OD now, because it's out so early.
You know, it's not the easiest hero to play around. They've already got their offlaner in the Void, so Nyx is probably not a go-to. Otherwise, it's like just really greedy for them to try and run like a 4-position Nyx on top of an Oracle, and then they don't have the most damage into the Chrono. They're pretty much relying on Void and one other hero. The Oracle will scale off as the game goes later and later.
I'm really surprised the Gyro wasn't a ban out from Bowden. I understand worrying about the Clinks a bit more. Also someone who can put a lot of damage into that Chronosphere. But I feel like Gyro is such a classic pick, and Gyro is also someone who does well against the Nature's Prophet split push.
5 seconds remaining.
I think Clinks is just... maybe it's a preference that Empire have now that they've got Aloha on the carry role, or maybe it's just something Burden have had very bad experiences with, because whenever I used to play against Clinks, it used to put me on tilt so much. Like, you'd be trying to deward your woods, and there's a Clinks there who hits you for like 150, 12 minutes into the game, and the hero's just very strong. I think he's slightly underrated. But he doesn't fit the best into the 5-man death ball so much.
Yeah, it's... I like the Witch Doctor pickup as well. Obvious synergy there with the Faceless Void, and they're still hiding exactly what the carry is. It's gonna be a Spectre ban out because them's the rules. Spectre's such a powerful hero right now. Also something that I think, given how the last game went, Empire would excel with, since they were able to hold out, just take a couple favorable engagements as the game progressed, and that of course is an area where the Spectre excels.
Yeah, and also with it being Empire having the last pick, you don't want to get forced into having to end the game when you don't have the hero to do it. Right now, Empire, they don't have the best, like, straight-up D-push outside of the Zeus. The other 3 heroes don't really offer that much in terms of clearing waves, so Burden wanted to go, like, super all-in and pick up something like a Lycan, which, you know, it's not the worst hero by any means. Void is very good against him, but outside of that, the rest aren't ideal. They could go for a very early end, or they could back off and just let the OD scale into the game. They have a lot of options here. In fact, both teams do, because of how they've left their carry to the last pick, and that's going to really dictate the pace of the game. I'm not really sure what I'd want to see from either team, because, like, as I said, it's so open-ended. They can go any which way. I think it's just preference at this point.
I really like this type of drafting. We've talked about it, but leaving your cores till last seems to be the winning ticket. Wraith King ban out is kind of interesting. Obviously, some good stuff here, but for forcing people to use big ults and then you just respawn and they're not there. For
10
Burden,
seconds
though,
remaining.
there's still a Juggernaut in the pool. There's still the Gyrocopter.
5
Jug is good
seconds
for pushing,
remaining.
of course. Gyro can also do some of that too. Ember!
Team
Was not expecting that
Emperor's
PQ.
turn to
Break
play.
it down.
Something I was kind of contemplating as an option, because outside of Void they don't have the most catch, and Ember's just one of those heroes, when you don't contain him, he can ball out of control very easily. Like, Oracle's good in terms of annoying the shit out of him, just taking his shield off. But other than that,
10
the supports don't
seconds
do that much to
remaining.
him. It's all going to be on the Void, and to some extent the Zeus. But Zeus isn't
5
one of the heroes that
seconds
gets an early
remaining.
hex. So now they're going to need a carry that locks Ember down to some extent.
Oof.
Or they're going to try and avoid the Ember and like scale the game as it goes.
Now, we've seen a couple of teams try the Morphling into the Chronosphere, and we've seen a couple of teams have not the best of luck, but of course, once you have up that Ethereal Blade, if that's what this Morphling chooses to go, it's very easy. Or the Morphling can go more of that split pushing route, something we also see sometimes out of the Morphling, where you just build up a whole heap of damage, and then you don't have to worry so much.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him just go for the Lincoln Z Blade this game though. Has a lot of synergy with his team.
Either way, I really do like this draw from Empire. I'm a bit of a Zeus fan. It's shameless, I know. I really
Yeah,
enjoy
I like the
watching Zeus
hero as well. I
games.
don't know why.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's just because he's like fun to play
10
and
seconds
stuff,
remaining.
but I'm a really big fan of watching the Zeus. We'll see how this matches up against OD
5
though, because of
seconds
course
remaining.
Zeus, you can play from pretty far away with that Arc Lightning, but if you get out of position one time, be it to Nightmare, be it to an Astral Imprisonment, you're in a lot of trouble. Sure, LeBron
I'm
Dota.
resisting to respond to
I
that,
know,
but
I'm like, really good typo there. Okay, but anyway,
the,
Zeus, let's talk about the mid matchup.
I think it's actually a possibility they just throw the Ember mid here, because getting a lot of early levels on him this game will accelerate how quickly he can snowball. And safe lane OD is quickly becoming a thing in pubs. I'm not sure if it's quite translated into the pro scene yet, but it's a very strong hero at dealing with Void that will let your Rubik maybe go for some pulls, or the Bane, depending whichever. And it's a lot easier to get kills on the Zeus mid when it's an Ember instead of an OD. OD provides like a lot of damage, but that extra bit of CC coming out from the Ember is just like a safety net. And Zeus can't really stop the Ember farming mid. Like, you can harass him down a bit, but by the time he gets his bottle up, he'll be going even on CS with you. So I'd be surprised if they do that, but I think it would be the better route.
KNO is on that. Oh, well, it's hard to tell because, of course,
Oh,
I'm
it is
actually
OD
pretty sure.
mid.
Yeah, no, it's a Rise mid. When I look at the items, it becomes glaringly obvious. I don't disagree with you. I think the safe lane farming OD can be very powerful. I think just wanting maybe a little bit more farm on their Ember. It looks like they're going to be dumping a lot onto this Ember Spirit's back.
This might just not be something they've thought about, but in theory, you're getting the same amount of farm mid as you're getting safe lane. Pretty much. Zeus is not going to be contesting your last hits. And the supports from Empire, okay, maybe they put Oracle there, but then you can put Bane there, and it's pretty much the same thing regardless. As long as your supports react to their support movements,
30 seconds to
it will
battle.
be fine. And then he can get the levels, and he can suddenly be the hero that moves around and makes space. So OD is farming while he's got his drums and level 8 or 9, and he's just going around and putting pressure on this Morphling, diving the Zeus under towers, and the supports can't stop him doing that. But because he's going to be safe lane this game, he's not going to have the privilege of getting such early levels. But
Yep.
that's the only reason I'm kind of harping on it.
There's certainly
But
something
OD
to be
can
said
kind
for
of do the same.
There's something to be
Go on,
said for the early levels on the Ember Spirit. It's obviously the trade-off in mid. You should get, in most matchups, more farm in the safe lane, but then more levels in mid. Either way, we've already had some early aggression, but it does look like things are going to go back to normal. I wasn't sure if Rubik was going to stay mid for a little bit, or even the Witch Doctor, just to make sure that Zeus or OD have a better time.
Well, the Zeus has a good block, so he's not going to be needing any help, and OD definitely doesn't need any help at getting this CS, so owning this profit will be number uno priority for for Empire.
Yeah, Bowden's managed to get one creep. Nature's Prophet maybe not getting the exact pull that he wanted, although he did really mess things up. The Morphling was lost sitting on the tower there, so actually Nature's Prophet is laying exactly where he wants it, but on bottom, already Havos taking a lot of harass damage there.
No, but he expected this, he packed on the regen. This game, he has an escape mechanism, so hopefully he doesn't go 0-5.
I mean, last game he
Yes.
technically had an escape mechanism. The
Level
Firefly.
1, he didn't have an escape mechanism. Because he had napalm, so anytime he got into a bad situation, he was pretty much screwed. At least this game he's got an escape mechanism and he can push his limits a little bit more. While this lane is like very dangerous, it's not gonna kill you until it gets like level 3, I think, on the two heroes.
And Havos having a pretty good time, able to get some experience, all things considered, with the hero he's on. While while Nature's Prophet is level 2, could do some jungling if he's so inclined, but just gonna snatch up this rune here. So, in mid, OD versus Zeus, as you talked about, Zeus does have the last hits he needs. I'm not sure. I do believe the Bane wrapping around on the Zeus could be really powerful. We've talked about how good Nightmare is as an initiation tool.
It looks like the Rubik might be the one to do it, if anything, because he's solo smoking up right now. He's got the DD rune, he had boots level 1, so they want him to be the person moving around. If this Wish Doctor overextends, he is,
Yeah, there's no mana
Probably
on the
just-
Nature's Prophet, so I think just taking a lot of auto attacks. Oh no, but here comes Rubik. Does have a DD, has the telekinesis. This should be our first blood going down. One more hit from Rubik, and Slavi gets himself first blood.
that's actually so good for this Rubik. Like, if he doesn't die, and he manages to just get a few creep kills, another kill, or just passive gold up to Arcane Boots by like minute 4, that's gonna help him so much.
And the Witch Doctor, realizing that the Rubik could have been wrapping around, comes back into mid. So the Nature's Prophet may have a little bit of space up in top.
Yeah, but it's still a hard lane to go into, just because the amount of damage coming out from Empire is so much so that I don't think he's ever gonna get the TP away. And they also have the lane ward, which he may or may not know about.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty passive game, I think, actually, because as you mentioned, for at least the early stages, there's a lot of missteps that could happen, but also a number of good escapes. I don't think the Nature's Prophet's gonna risk it too much top. And similarly with Havost, he's now managed to hit level 3. He has a pretty dang good getaway with that time walk on a much lower cooldown.
And the supports just aren't aggressive enough this game to be making a lot of early movements. OD is quite content just going mano a mano with the Zeus.
Let's talk game plan some. Obviously, they do have a Nature's Prophet on Bowden United. They have not really got group up and push potential, though. So are you just stalling out till this Ember Spirit gets huge?
Definitely not about grouping up and pushing, but it's going to be about finding their windows where they're stronger. Because as soon as Void gets level 6 this game, Empire are probably going to look to make something happen, whether it's just with the Zeus, whether it's maybe even Witch Doctor's level 6 on the same time, depending how greedy he's able to get. It looks like Phoenix being the greedy one, so Witch Doctor's kind of getting the boot, which is unfortunate. But that's going to be a window where like Empire is stronger when they suddenly get the Chrono up. And you can kind of flip that on his head when they don't have it, and maybe Kiana's level 6, he can, instead of farming bottom, get a TP, kind of do a Gyro-esque rotation, go find some supports, maybe even just TP mid off an Astral, kill this Zeus. And it'll just be about using, like, power peaks. So I don't think either team has, like, a blatant...
Sorry, he's not gonna die. He was saying blatant.
They don't have, like, we're gonna get mech at 15 minutes, we're gonna go take all your tier 1s, like... I suppose it's possible from BU if the Prophet wants to go mech again, but he's not going to have as good of a game as he did last time, so if he does want to do it, it's going to be a lot later. And I think it's just about every team wanting to get as much as they can right now. Both teams have very greedy heroes.
Yeah, speaking of greedy, Aloha Dance on a bit of a different carry right now. He's actually going to consider diving this tower for it, backs on out. The Morphling, we've seen this time and time again, even with freeform, things can still go wrong. He's not such an easy hero like a Sven, who can... Holy Hannah. The Kun doing some fantastic denying off of Aloha Dance, who I'm pretty sure a lot of his creep score augmented by trees, but... Going for the Lincolns, how else... We talked about how it's a good Ethblade. Do you just go for that? You don't try to get some earlier fight? Because Morphling doesn't always have a lot of early game impact.
This game, I don't think he's going to need to, because, as you were saying, there's not really group up and push from BU, and not really any aggression that, except for maybe Fiend's Grip from a smoke, that's going to worry him. Problem's going to be if his team like massively falls behind, like they go in mid now.
Yeah, they're going to throw
Maybe
out some
they have
arcane orbs. I don't know if it's quite enough. The Sanity's Eclipse barely tickling FN there. Oh, and that was a little bit too early on that one. And now Arise has to be very careful. The Zeus ult is at the ready. The Nature's Prophet is coming in on the backlines, though. They'll get this. Gorge, Nightmare up, unable to turn, and they may just use one of the trees to get this type of kill. They've got him in the Sprout. They need a little more auto attacks. They miss. They hit the Catapult. Funnick now coming in, locking in the Nature's Prophet, who's going to fall for this one. Returns a kill over to the Dire. But again, Burden United. Good trades.
Yeah. They just... I suppose that's their biggest advantage right now, where the Void doesn't have the Chrono. They always have the extra man with the Prophet coming in, and Zeus is just one of the most susceptible heroes to ganks. But that window's not gonna last much longer. They're actually trying to go on Aloha top. He has a stick, but it's not enough to get away from him.
Yeah, he's going to be trapped in here. He's actually morphing strength, figuring he may as well try to juke it out. He's getting very tanky. A nice Maledicte comes out, but KNO... Oh, he dodges the Zeus. Oh no, he had his Flame Guard up to dodge that Zeus ult. They do get the kill on OD with this. Aloha Dance is burning down Searing Chains. Searing Chains goes off on him. Aloha Dance still morphing strength. How many years is this gank gonna take?
Fucked off. Like, he had stick and wave. He did not need to morph there. That's unfortunate for him. He was fine.
Also, the Rubik dodges dying to the Witch Doctor by denying to the creeps, the neutrals here. So a really nice play there. They did lose OD, though, to the Zeus in mid. I didn't catch that part, in case you did.
No, unfortunately, I was watching the same as you, but I think they'll take that, because Morphling's one of those heroes that anytime you stunt his growth, it impacts him a lot more than it would an OD.
Yeah, and now on the bottom lane, the first Chronosphere comes out, Havost getting a quick pick on the Bane, and Empire having a much better start than last game.
Yeah,
although on top,
game...
holy Hannah! They just Fade Bolt Nature's Wrath and bring down the Witch Doctor from full health.
Yeah, he is like a level 3 Witch Doctor with like 500 HP. That's not where he wants to be right now.
Yeah, to understate it a bit, this poor Witch Doctor, someone's gonna be food.
He's richer than the Bane. He probably doesn't feel like that, but, you know, he is richer than the Bane.
Bane, of course, does have some other mechanics to get health back, though.
Yeah, he's a much better hero with much less. And I think this is the problem Empire are gonna run into for a while now, because sure, Oracle has a lot of damage coming out from hitting the levels, but because they've sacked his Witch Doctor so heavily, and there's not really an easy way for him to catch up outside of fighting, he's just going to be walking food for quite a while, it feels like.
Obviously, Oracle is a very powerful hero. You know, there's a reason this guy has first round ban material, but I do agree with you. I feel that the Witch Doctor is the hero you want to give farm here. Most teams rush the Ags on the Witch Doctor, so I'm not quite sure whether it was just a case of Oracle happened to get some better rotations in, or if Empire are purposely sacking this Witch Doctor in favor of the Oracle.
I'm pretty sure it's just player preferences. You see EG do it a lot, where they'll put PPD on the Witch Doctor and Fear can play like the greedier hero. But they normally do that when they have the ability to get slightly greedier with their supports, or Witch Doctor just happens to fit in like really well. In this game, he fits in really well because he has the sustain in the team fights to kind of.
Top Nature's Prophet goes down. I mean, he's dove under tower. Aloha Dawn's gonna take quite a bit of damage from the Ember. Searing Chains comes out. He is just going for the TP out, and he should be fine. Oracle now KNO's target of choice. He has DD for a little bit longer. Oh, and he gets the kill using 3 remnants. On the bottom lane, though, there's another Chronosphere on LeBron Dota, and they have this one. Bane down. Oh, go in mid. What is going on, guys? Come on, one team fight at a time, please. They're gonna get the kill on the Witch Doctor in mid as well. And now that that's done, you were saying, PQ.
At least it sounds like you caught all of those on camera, right?
Yeah, it's just a bit ridiculous, you know. It's morning, just warming up.
I'm not really sure, like, if this is exactly what Empire want, because sure, they're getting kills on cooldown with the Chrono, but it's always on a support. And that support is still, like, just TPing down to this lane, knowing there's nothing to fear for the next minute or so. Well, they're just keeping putting pressure on this Morphling, and I think that's actually bad for them. Right now, they're losing their safe lane tower. The OD is trying to pressure mid, but at least for Morphlings, stopping that. And Farm's not bad by any means, but it just feels like they want to be getting more done with these ults.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting as well. The Morphling, he's still farming pretty well. He's second on the net worth. The Ember Spirit has eclipsed him, which is really impressive. Yes, he had safe lane, but Ember Spirit, sometimes a hero we see have trouble before getting that Battle Fury. Already got the bots up. Could go for the Battle Fury here since he has an Aquila. Oh, LeBron unable to cast the Fiend's Grip. And so Havost will get away again.
And while Empire had their downtime with the ult, Funnick ended up doing some solo smoking, getting really valuable vision off.
Okay, Funnick gonna be taking some damage in mid. Oh, he does have that false promise. This thing doing some good work. We'll see whether he pops in the fountain. Oh, full health.
Yeah, he's hard to bring down when you don't have that extra stun. Rubik's not always going to be there because he doesn't have a global TP. If only, right? And it's actually getting to the point where BU nearly have drums on the OD. They've got drums up on the Prophet. Ember's got his bots. It feels like as long as they don't walk into a big chrono from Havost, they can maybe make something happen.
Oh no, Aloha Dance is being Fiend Gripped on top lane. He's run out of mana and one auto attack and the Brain Sap will do the work. So just as we were complimenting Aloha Dance's form, gets caught out of position.
Caster's Curse.
Yeah, clearly can't talk about anyone. So, Nature's Prophet going to pick up those drums. Oh, Rubik goes down in mid though to Fortune's End helping out. And they're going to get a nice D-ward. Oh, this room is about to expire. That is something. Oh.
It's always annoying when you find a ward, it's like, oh, it's about to expire anyway. It's such a nice feeling when you get like that freshly placed ward. Especially when it's like a really important ward. But yet again, Empire blow their ult. Pretty much their one ability to get pickoffs and maybe save some face in a team fight just to kill a support. And it's working out because BU aren't forcing anything, but they've just hit a window where they've, as I said, they've got their drums on both heroes, their levels are there. So if they don't do anything in the next 2 minutes while this chrono is down, I'd be really surprised. They're forcing the tier 1 bottom right now, but I think they could quite easily just group off.
Yeah, we'll see what they decide to go for. As you said, they're maneuvering towards the mid lane. They also, of course, do have Ember Spirit just free farming in bottom. Nature's Wrath does come out. He actually jumps behind the tower, maybe hoping to catch out Funnick, but no, on the wrong spot. They now know that Nature's Prophet is there, so they have full vision, but I don't think they can stop this mid push. Bottom tower already gone by KNO, and now in mid, they've got an Astral Imprisonment up. This should be free work to pound into this Oracle. No false promise coming out this time. And they get a tower as well.
A little bit of overkill with the Fiend script, but still really good movement from BU. Realizing Chrono is down, there's no way Empire fight. Managed to get both tier 1s that were still up, and suddenly that's Empire just being a bit further behind than they'd like to be. And Goretz is also going to get gang-ranged.
Yeah, he is not in a good spot, right? This gank coming out hard and strong. KNO putting a really sneaky remnant up so that Goretz didn't know. And again, Bowden United looked to be in control of this game. Just like last one though, which they did lose out. It does feel like Empire don't have such an easy lineup as last game though, with a Sven who just, you know, he farms, wins the game.
Morphling can get to that point, but it's more the fact that BU don't just suddenly hit a cliff and drop off at one point. I feel like they're going to be relevant throughout the entire game this time. You know, OD scales fantastically. Ember is obviously one of the hardest heroes to deal with late game. So I think if this game he just gets a blink up at some point, maybe after his Battle Fury. You could even argue it before the Battle Fury, but it doesn't look like he's going to go for that build, and there's no real way for them to catch him until Zeus eventually gets a Blink X, if that's even the route he wants to go for.
Now, of course, there is always the concern with Morphling lineup that there could be some split push. Aloha Dance hasn't finished his Lincolns yet, so we still have no idea what he's building up, but the same is said of Bowden United. They have a Nature's Prophet. And how do you deal with this hero? Are they really attempting to gank an Ember Spirit? I do not know where his other remnant is. Oh, they know where his other remnant is. Okay, I'll see the play here. He's gonna remnant back right into a bunch of them. Chronosphere comes out and KNO looking to be in a lot of trouble. The Death Ward put inside of there, so not gonna work out so well. Rubik did not manage to get the Chronosphere. Did get Time Dilation, another powerful spell. Sprout catches one. Funnick probably going to apply that false promise. No, they're just going to turn around and kill the Nature's Prophet, and this is exactly what Empire need. The Sanity's Eclipse, super underwhelming, and now we're going to be seeing a lot of damage coming out. Havos still alive. Fiend's Grip, not enough. Funnick, still alive, and they have handily won this team fight's only supports left, and it's looking like all of Bowden United going down.
That's just Empire purely outplaying you. It was really nice that they forced the Remnant away and they got the kill on the Ember. It should have been left at that, but as soon as you chased into them, it just wasn't the play. And unfortunately, you lose a bit of their lead. It's not be all end all, but it's very nice for Empire because it feels like that's something they shouldn't be able to do at this stage.
Aloha Dance? Question mark, question mark. He did not have a Remnant, a Morph Illusion active, and he goes down. And
Funnick's pissed.
Well, no, that was Goret. Well, both of them were pinging like mad. So yeah. Oh, you're right. No, that was Funnick. Sorry. I'm unsure of what just happened there, but obviously a big swing in favor of Empire in that previous team fight, even though Ember Spirit manages to get the catch-up kill.
That might actually just kind of equalize it a tiny bit. Okay, sure, it's like the rest of Empire get a lot. Like Zeus has his Veil and an Aether Lens now, so he's dealing a lot of damage in these fights. And it's something the BU supports won't be able to deal with. Hell, maybe even OD won't be able to deal with. He might be able to hit like 3-4 times, drop his Sanity's Eclipse, and then realize I can't stay here any longer. Same thing with the Prophet.
These Sanity's Eclipses have been really underwhelming, to be honest.
Void disjointed it in the last fight. That's probably why it looked so bad. Speaking of the Void, he gets Fiend's Grip bottom, and he is
he's dead though.
Four.
Now they do have a 3-man rotation coming down, but without the Faceless Void, with no Chronosphere, I'm not sure. Yeah, and they back on out on Empire.
Top tower is under attack.
So a nice pick again. Ember Spirit over halfway, actually only 500 gold away from having up that Battle Fury.
Having a nice easy game. Despite that one death top, he's been very hard to
gank. The Morphling Replicate comes in, and now Aloha Dance fighting there. They do manage to kill off the Nature's Prophet, and the Death Ward picks off Rubik. Ember Spirit realizing he has to back on out. Does not want to lose that good timing on that Battle Fury. LeBron Dota, though, hiding up in the trees. Aloha Dance has gone very aggressively forwards. He still has that Lincolns. It's going to get popped. Aloha Dance now morphing strength massively. Arise trying to pound into him. Another Sanity's Eclipse. Doesn't quite get the kill, and now Zeus is here. Ember Spirit has to get on out, but he goes down. KNO taking a fight he shouldn't have. They lose the Bane. Zeus just sitting there with an Aether Lens, with an Arcane Rune. Everything you could want on this hero.
Yeah, he's actually just too strong at this stage for them to fight into. Unless they're killing the Zeus at the start of the fight, you just can't tank through that. It's actually really surprising that Empire managed to, take these past few fights so convincingly. Chrono hasn't been used in like either of them, minus the fact they killed the Ember top, but the fight after that, Chrono had nothing to do with it. The Wish Doctor hasn't even been that overwhelming either, it's mostly just been the Zeus damage. And honestly, the focus they've put on Aloha Dance, because he's just tanking up all the spells. Zeus is allowed to do his thing.
And it's really well played. Obviously, the Zeus is the one who's in his peak right now. We're going to see Rubik taking a lot of damage. Manages to get the telekinesis off. Chronosphere's nothing on the sidelines there. Fiend Script coming out onto Aloha Dance, but where is the damage? They're going to end up losing 1, 2, and that's going to be it. What did you say?
Chronoed the TP from the Ember, but the Ember cancelled it as soon as he saw the Chrono.
Oh.
Which, smart from the Ember, and I think if he'd have come in there, it might have even been really bad. Even if Void didn't go for the Chrono and he just went to fight there. You were definitely not in a stage where they're able to deal with this Zeus. Maybe when the Orchid comes out on the Prophet, but he's still a decent ways away from that.
Oh,
he's
okay.
Dead.
Yep. Nature's Prophet goes down in the top lane. And that's another painful one. This Nature's Prophet, he is, what, 6th on the net worth? He's not having a blast like we've seen some Nature's Prophets working on an Orchid, but that's not going to be out for a while, and I'm not sure he has the solo pickoff potential.
No, and I think we both figured out why we like Zeus.
Yeah.
Does things like this. And none of the heroes on BU can so easily deal with it. Okay, Arise can get a BKB, which he completely disagrees with by going for a Blink. But without a BKB, I don't see him being able to stay in these fights for more than a few auto attacks, and I feel like he kind of needs to. Because Ember's just going to be skirting around on the edges of the fights, throwing as many slights as he can. There's no way he's committing into Empire right now because they're just stronger. And same goes for the Prophet. He's not actually ever going to want to be in their face, unless it's just one hero. Empire have done a good job of, staying together this game.
Despite staying together, they have a 4k net worth lead and more worrisome at almost 7.5k, almost over that in experience. It's something where when we take a look around at the levels here, Bane's still level 9, Witch Doctor about to hit that level 2 ult, Oracle already has that level 2 ult. Being able to kill people on Empire is getting harder and harder.
The only time I see it getting better is when this Ember really starts kicking in some right clicks and OD gets his BKB, which they're both really far away from. They're going to have to play like the split push game until they can get these items, and Empire aren't the best at dealing with, you split pushing, but they're happy to play this game. I think it plays into them more than it does to BU, just because of how long it's going to take BU to get those items. They're actually getting a tier 2 trade though, which is really good for them. They might even be able to defend bottom if they feel like they can.
Yeah, I think they just forwarded it to buy some more time, maybe tap at top tower. We'll see.
Yeah, it would be a horrible idea as it's already Aegis.
So they are poking away at this bottom tower. It's actually taking them ages. These supports do not push. Only Zeus has come back for the defense. He should be enough. Obviously can't take the trees off the tower, but can just kill them pretty quickly. And Morphling has the Eagle Song up. He's going in for it, is he? Oh. Without having a crit of some sort, there is not much you can do here. The silence does come out. You can, of course, prop that Lincoln's with the Sprout. Now there's going to be that false promise, and there is a 3-man Chronosphere. The ult might be in it, but it doesn't matter. Zeus blows them all up. Arise in a lot of trouble. Astral Imprisonment just going to delay your death. And here it comes. He tries for the blink away, manages to get it. Can they find anything else here on Bowden United? And no, it's just Empire with the 2 kills.
And as you say that, Zeus ends up finding the Rubik, and turns out they can get one more thing. They're probably going to be able to get the tower off this as well. B-Blades also come in, so if anyone does dare show their face, they're going to get melted.
Yeah, really solid play coming out from Empire. Again, just waiting very patiently until the heroes have a peak and just capitalizing on Bowden United's mistakes.
Yeah, I really didn't see it being this big of a problem for BU, but with how they've itemized and namely Arise going for like a Kilo Drums Blink instead of just going for a BKB so he can actually withstand this magic damage. Really screwing them over right now. They're going erect behind against a team that can very easily take you late game.
Yeah, there's gonna be a Searing Chains coming up, a Sleight of Fist Searing Chains, but it's not enough. There's no damage on this Ember Spirit yet, other than the Battle Fury. He'd need 1,000,000 units saved up there. He doesn't even manage to kill off guards. He's going in for it. He's on the back lines now, though. No mana for the no cooldown on the Fortune's End, but it's about to be up again in a second, and KNO falls. This may just have been the lost legs, and they call it.
Yeah, you can't blame them at that point. That was nail in the coffin moment for sure. I think this is just Empire proving they're a slightly better team both games.
I mean,
like, Verdant played really well in like the early stages of the game, but you could just see a few small cracks, especially this game.
yeah, I think really well done. Both games from Burden United, not quite able to seal the deal, but considering that they had a stand-in, they also thought this match was happening next week. I think a really great showing from them, and I hope to see them in further tournaments. Empire, of course, take it out, which means that they will be progressing on to play up against... Let me just pull that up. They have the matchup against Prius, and up next, though, is going to be Adfinem versus London Conspiracy. And we'll see who can end up becoming one of the first finalists to qualify through. Also, a fun match because Adfinem is an ex-London Conspiracy team, so they get to play against new London Conspiracy. Either way, folks, that's it for this match. There's going to be about an hour between now and the next match. I'm Llama Down Under, joined by PQMZ. Give us any and all feedback on how to make the casting better for you. PQ doesn't have social media. I do, so you can send me his feedback. I can be found at Llama Down Under on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. And we'll see you all back here in an hour. Peace out, guys.